Fitness is so confusing nowadays, but I'm here to set the record straight. Whether it be from social media, colleagues, friends, family members, they all seem to have their own input on what the best method or approach is to achieving fitness and wellness goals. Well, that's what worked for me. Unfortunately, this just ultimately leads us to being so confused about what the best approach is for us. We end up trying multiple approaches, and then ultimately we just get very frustrated and give up on the idea altogether. Sound familiar? Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Francesca. Welcome back to my channel, here where we chat about fitness strategies and fitness prescriptions to help you lead your healthiest lifestyle. I've navigated this fitness industry for 15 years now, both personally and professionally, and I've got a lot of, information, advice, tidbits, again, all evidence-based and backed by science. And I just feel like I gotta get it out there and share it with you guys, because I can't imagine how frustrating it might be to scroll social media where you might be looking for resources, for example, on how to achieve your best and healthiest lifestyle. And one post might say A, and then the next post is completely conflicting information to what you just looked at. So I'm here to help you set the record straight. So let's just get into it. Here are 5 pieces of evidence-based fitness advice that you can start implementing today. First thing first is to ignore the noise. Everyone in your circle is going to be trying to persuade you to do things their way because it worked for them, but unfortunately this piece of anecdotal evidence just does not slide. Why this usually doesn't work is because everyone's lifestyle and everyone's demands are very different from one another. Different schedules, different dietary restrictions, different limitations, different fitness goals, different levels of motivation, access to resources or facilities. Only you can determine what you like, what's important to you, and at the end of the day, you have to be accountable to yourself. So even if you do take their advice, you have to try to implement what worked for their lifestyle into yours, and that can be increasingly difficult. Instead of looking to others and what worked for them, try to objectively and genuinely look to yourself and ask yourself the serious questions before you get started on your fitness journey. What do I have time for realistically? What are some anticipated hurdles that might interfere with my fitness program? What activities do I genuinely like and can commit to on a regular basis? Will I need help or support in any way from a fitness professional or family, friends, whomever? Once you start asking yourself the hard questions, the rest of it becomes much easier. This is all based on the transformational model of behavior change. You can't commit to act without the preparation of that act. Number 2, regardless of your fitness goal, resistance training and lifting weights will get you there. Losing fat, managing your blood pressure, reducing the effects of diabetes, managing your mental health, anxiety, or depression. All of this can be mitigated and or completely resolved with the help of resistance training. Now I can really dig deep into this topic of all of the ways in which resistance training is really beneficial, but let me just summarize it with these 3 points of how resistance training can improve your quality of life. Firstly, resistance training improves your resiliency mentally, physiologically, and neurologically. That flows nicely into point number 2, where resistance training helps to manage all aspects of metabolism. This is body fat composition, managing blood glucose levels, blood pressure, you name it. Thirdly, resistance training has a direct carryover to everyday life. Think about things that you do on a regular basis: carrying groceries, going up a flight of stairs, bending to reach things off the floor or overhead. Without resistance training, these things, especially as we get older, become increasingly difficult, and we want to be able to maintain our independence, especially as we age. If you are just starting out with resistance training, focus on compound movements that are going to work large muscle groups, for example, squats, lunges, push-ups, rows, and these can all be done at home or in a fitness facility. Now here we are with piece of advice number 3, is that intensity does matter, but not always. To reap the most health benefits, you want to be working out at your perception of moderate to vigorous intensity. Now, some people don't really know what that feels like, so with my clients, I usually say for them to use the talk test. The talk test is when you are performing cardio resistance training, if you were to carry on a conversation, how well can you actually get those words out of your mouth? So if you can just kind of give me the full play-by-play on what you were watching on Netflix the night before, clearly you're not working hard enough because you can continue the conversation very easily. But if you have to take a breath every few words, you're probably working out at a really good intensity, and then that talk test can give you that measurement of, yes, I am working out at an appropriate intensity to give me the most health benefits for this exercise. So I say that intensity matters, but not always, because sometimes we have to prioritize that some movement is better than none. Just because your daily walk isn't super vigorous does not mean you're receiving any mental clarity, loosening up any low back stiffness, or also burning fat by performing this activity. You're still reaping benefits, and it's not all that intense. So don't think that just because your workout's not intense, that it's not worth it at all, because that's simply not the case. Coming in at number 4 is to do not, and I repeat, do not neglect your mobility work. So when I say mobility, I don't just mean stretching, and I don't just mean yoga. I mean controlled, active range of motion of all of your joints. As a former bodybuilder, can I tell you that my mobility for the longest time was absolutely terrible. And this is because I was really just focused on lifting heavy, applying a lot of volume, and not incorporating a recovery or mobility program into my fitness at the time at all. It was just not a priority. And let me tell you that I definitely paid for it. I was walking around like the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. I had lower back pain. I had joint issues in my SI joint, my ankle, my neck, my shoulders, and it took a long time for me to really break down those barriers. I see it with many clients that I've trained over the years as well. And as we get older, no one really cares about how much weight you lift. You care about being able to pick something off the ground without your back going out. I'm going to link some of my favorite mobility exercises from my exercise library that you can check out either on my website or the YouTube channel, and I'll link that below. My 5th and final piece of advice for today is that you have to remain consistent. Consistency trumps absolutely everything. If you think about it, the human body is designed to keep us the same and constant. That concept is called homeostasis. Our blood pH, our body temperature, our metabolic rate, all of this is remaining constant unless we do something to change it. That's right, you have to give your body enough of a stimulus in order to change your metabolism, in order to change your body composition, in order to reduce your blood pressure. We have to implement something new in order for that body to change its metabolic factor. So whatever positive change you're implementing consistently, the body eventually has to concede, and it's going to create a positive adaptation to whatever stimulus you're applying to it. You do need to start small with habits that you can do consistently every day, and then add to those regular habits to build a consistent regimen. Let's take the example of losing weight. 3,500 calories is approximately the caloric deficit that you need to be in per week in order to lose 1 pound of body fat. Let's say that you are eating approximately 2,000 calories per day, and you think to yourself, I want to hit this 3,500 caloric deficit by the end of the week, so I'm going to take my diet from 2,000 calories a day to 1,000 calories a day, aka a crash diet. Yes, you would have achieved that caloric deficit, but this is not a gradual, consistent effort. The brain is going to send off alarm bells, danger, and the body is going to fight you, not work with you. The smarter and much more effective approach would to be have a gradual and marginal caloric deficit monitor that week by week, and make changes from there. So there we have it. We have 5 pieces of sound fitness advice that you can start implementing right away. If you do have questions or comments, do leave them down in the comments below. If you need help with your form with some exercises, I do have a ton of tutorials on my YouTube channel, so definitely check those out as well. Until then, that's it. Thanks for watching and happy training.